I'd like to introduce Kannu. Kannu is an amazing contributor. She is also a very frequent user group attendee. You may have seen her around. She's been to practically every single one of our meetups. Right, so thank you very much, Kannu. She has also, unknown to me, actually been doing a lot of work on Scaladex. And so today she's going to be talking a little bit about open source adventure with Scaladex, and also her experience being a Google Summer of Code mentor. So I'm really glad that we have her speaking. Pleased to welcome her.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. I would also like to extend my gratitude to the Trade Desk and London Scala User Group for hosting this event and giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Zainab. My name is Kannupriya, and I'm excited to be here today to speak with you all about anatomy of Scaladex. I began my open source journey with Scaladex last year, which has been an incredibly rewarding experience. Today, I'll provide an overview of this project, describe my role, and discuss how it has fueled my passion for Scala. Additionally, I'll share insights into my experience as a mentor for Google Summer of Code 2024 with Scala Center, where I have had the pleasure of guiding and collaborating with enthusiastic contributors. That's something about me before we get started. So I love functional programming, and that said, I'm a regular attendee at London Scala Talks and Scala Bridge London. So Scala Bridge London is where I actually got to know about Google Summer of Code. I'm doing my day job at Sky as a Scala software engineer. Also, I'm contributing to Scala open source through GSOC. Here is the agenda for my talk today. Firstly, I'll introduce you all to GSOC, which is Google Summer of Code, and show you why you should get involved regardless of your level. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced developer, you'll get a lot out of it. We'll then dive into one of this year's GSOC projects, Scaladex, which is a great open source starter project to show how easy it is. I will then tell you a bit about my journey in mentoring on this year's GSOC. I will try to encourage you to start your own contributions to the Scala community. So let's get started by understanding what Google Summer of Code is all about and how Scala Center fits into this global initiative. So it's my opinion, and I'm sure once you experience it, you'll feel the same. Google Summer of Code is amazing, and you should be involved. What is Google Summer of Code? It's an annual online global program designed to encourage participation in open source. This year is a momentous year as we celebrate the 20th anniversary of both GSOC and Scala in the same year. With 34 organizations participating in this program, Scala Center is one of these organizations. And today, I will be discussing everything in the context of Scala Center's involvement in GSOC. This year, 10 contributors have been accepted under the Scala Center. And we all know about Scala Center, so I won't dive deep into that. Scala Center is where the real magic happens. Imagine learning from people who actually worked on creating the language and its associated libraries. So who can participate? Good news is everyone can, just in different roles. The program is geared towards beginners first and foremost. So anybody who happens to be a university student or a newcomer with respect to Scala or open source can participate as a contributor. And for all of us who are experienced Scala developers, can become a mentor in the program. It is actually intended to be a learning experience for people at the very beginning of their careers, and it is also intended to give an opportunity to people who would otherwise not have one. Someone from a disadvantaged background, Scala Center will definitely prioritize their application when making an acceptance decision on a potential contributor. So how all of this works is very simple. Mentors create project ideas. Scala Center then reviews the projects. Contributors apply for some of these projects that they find interesting. They can apply for more than one project. Mentors then select contributors based on how they perform in the interview or based on the discussion with contributors. Project proposals with respective to mentor and contributor details, they are then submitted to Google. Google then decides which project they will run. And Google pays up to $6,000 for a successful project to each contributor, depending on the length of project. So all of this is a collaborative agreement between mentor, contributor, and Scala Center with the final approval from Google. So how do we participate as a mentor if we are an experienced Scala developer? You need to first propose a project idea related to Scala and its associated tech stack and submit a pull request on Scala Center's project ideas list page. The project can either be a new initiative from scratch or an enhancement of an existing project that you started long back. It can be a personal project or an open source contribution. The project can be categorized based on the effort required from a contributor. For example, a small project could be 90 hours, medium 175 hours, large project 350 hours. Additionally, the projects can be classified by difficulty level, a student level or an advanced level. The project will be first reviewed by Scala Center's org admins and if accepted, added to the Scala Center's project ideas list page. Contributors will then apply to work with you and you can select the most suitable candidate's proposal. The project list will then be sent to Google for final selection, and the projects will only be sent to Google if a contributor is associated to work on it. So a mentor cannot just do the work on the project by themselves. You have to have someone working with you. And more than one mentor can propose a project idea together. So it can be a collaborative experience. As a contributor, if you want to participate, you have to assess your interests and abilities to identify the most suitable project from the Scala Center's project ideas list page. So the ideas list page will have all the information related to the project, prerequisites, time, level of project, difficulty level, size, mentor information, their emails, how you can reach out to them. So once you have decided on a project for yourself, you're free to reach out to the mentor to express your interest in the project. You can prepare a detailed proposal outlining your plan for working on the project. Seek help from a mentor for a draft review of your proposal if you need. Mentors are very kind and helpful with this. So you can submit your proposal to the Scala Center organization once all of this is done. The mentor will then do the final review for your proposal and select the most suitable one to work with, given they will be receiving multiple proposals from multiple candidates. So if selected by your preferred mentor, your proposal will then be forwarded to Google and Google will make the final decision on the project selection. So here are some useful links which have everything about that I just said and more. So we have type level organization also participating in this program under Scala Center umbrella. So we have separate project idea list for both of them, which we can consider using. Also, I have put the link for selected project ideas for 2024, so you can get a head start with all of this information about how this is going on this year. Now I'll go on with my project, Scaladex. So, who has seen Scaladex webpage? Glad to know. So, Scaladex is an index of Scala open source libraries, and it provides a tool to all the Scala developers worldwide for searching Scala libraries and finding the one they need to develop their Scala applications. It is exclusively for searching Scala-related libraries and dependencies. The goal here for me is to help you understand some of the important concepts related to it. I'll also explain a bit about how to organize the project, all the different modules, architecture, and how we are doing the testing, what the background jobs look like, and more. So here's the introduction to Scaladex. But before we dive into that, first a bit about libraries and how we publish them. When you create a library, and if you want to publish it publicly so that it's available to anyone, usually we publish it to Maven Central. There are many repositories. You can publish the artifacts, but the one that is used nowadays is Maven. Maven Central is used for Java, Scala, Kotlin, Groovy, and other JVM-based ecosystems. Let's now discuss Maven Central, as it's a tool many of us have already used in our day jobs. Maven Central was originally designed with the goal of allowing the download of Java libraries from a centralized repository. While it was built to support the JVM-based platform, Scala, which can run on other platforms such as Scala.js and Scala Native, also utilizes it. Although Maven Central was created for specific purposes, it is now used for a wide range of languages. Given that Maven Central is used for finding libraries, why was Scaladex actually created? Mm-hmm.
Because we have different versions of the same artifact that Scala language uses.
Exactly. So, any more? So, I said that given the Maven Central is used for finding libraries and it used to support a lot of languages, what could be the reason Scaladex was created? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any more?
Make it easier to find Scala libraries.
Yeah, discover them. Because it does give information about everything. Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. So, Maven Central serves as a repository for storing libraries, but is not designed for discovering and learning about them. Its user experience is not ideal for Scala libraries and has some limitations, such as compatibility issues with different Java versions. Also, it was designed with the focus of JVM-only platforms without considering native JavaScript or other platforms. What we need is a solution tailored to the Scala ecosystem, which is much richer and diverse. We need a search function exclusively for Scala libraries, the ability to search by application type, platform version, language version, or a combination of all of these criteria with its search filters. Scaladex addresses these needs by allowing users to filter and explore libraries. They can view relevant links and find libraries based on metrics such as the number of stars on GitHub for a particular library, indicating popularity of a library based on developer experience with that library. Scaladex is also dedicated to Scala libraries and does more than just extract information from Maven Central. It also integrates the library data from GitHub, offering a more comprehensive resource for Scala developers. So they don't have to pick a library and then go look for it in GitHub. Scaladex will bring information from GitHub, everything on the same platform. This slide illustrates the interaction between Scaladex, Maven Central, and GitHub, detailing how Scala library information is managed and displayed. Whenever a developer publishes a Scala library to Maven, it has a POM file. POM is Project Object Model File. This file contains metadata about the library, including its group ID, artifact ID, version, and other essential details. Once the POM file is created, Maven sends a notification to Scaladex indicating the presence of a new or updated Scala artifact. Scaladex then processes this information and pulls additional details from the associated GitHub repository like README, badges, statistics like commits, contributors, open issues, forks, etc. Scaladex then updates its database with this newly fetched information using a background job. This ensures that the library details are current and complete. We are updating around 9,000 project libraries every day by fetching the recent stats from GitHub. Finally, the updated information is made available on the Scaladex website, allowing users to search for and view details about Scala libraries. This entire process happens seamlessly in just 2 steps: receiving the POM files from Maven and pulling repository details from GitHub. By automating this workflow, Scaladex maintains an up-to-date index of Scala libraries. When we publish an artifact, we use its reference. So we can see on the slide, a Maven reference is made up of 3 parts: a group ID, a artifact ID, and a version. And this artifact contains a POM file, which contains the metadata about artifact, and several jar files. And your build tool needs the POM file for resolving the dependencies and jar file to compile. In Scala, libraries modify the naming convention by incorporating additional information. Specifically, they append the Scala version and platform version to the artifact name. This is only particular to Scala language, like Roberto just told. This approach diverges from Maven's original design principles, which didn't account for such metadata in artifact names. To manage this, we have developed a custom convention tailored to Scala's needs. Java artifacts typically have a straightforward naming structure where the artifact ID is just the name of the artifact. In contrast, Scala artifacts include the binary version in the artifact ID. Example, artifact name plus binary version. This is necessary because Scala 2.12 and Scala 3 are not binary compatible. So the binary version helps ensure compatibility with the correct Scala version. With this slide, we can take a look of different Scala binary versions based on what platform your project is targeting. So the default platform is JVM. So with first 2 examples, we can see there is no mention of JVM And that's because JVM is default, because that's how we started. For the next two example, we can see a mention of SJS that shows that this is for Scala JS. And for the remaining examples, we can see Scala native. This here is an example of JVM dependency. This is the final dependency identifier that we all add to our build tool. It includes group ID, artifact name, and a version. Semantic version. In Scaladex, for a version of an artifact, we use semantic version. A semantic version is composed of different parts: major, minor, patch, and pre-release. If it's not a stable version of a library, we will see a pre-release version. RC here is release candidate. M1 that you can see is when we want to publish an artifact, even when the library is not stable. Also, non-semantic versions. So if after major, minor, and patch, there is something else, then that is a non-semantic version. When Maven publishes an artifact to Scaladex, it means it sends a POM file. Scaladex only needs the POM file to get information about the artifact, and then it will query GitHub to get the information about the GitHub project and index that into Scaladex. This slide provides an overview of a POM file. We have group ID, which specifies the group or organization that the artifact belongs to. In this case, org.type level indicates the organization responsible for the CATS core library. Then we have artifact ID, which uniquely identifies the library within the group. Here, CATS core 3 refers to the core CATS library for Scala 3. Version indicates the version of the artifact. POM file also contains additional metadata such as license and SCM. So SCM is the important part here. SCM provides details about source control management, including the repository URL, which is crucial for open source projects. Here you see the URL pointing to the CATS library's GitHub repository. This is exactly how Scaladex reads information from POM file and get this git URL of the library. This is the place where it gets the URL, git URL from. To extract the additional information, it needs to show about the library in its web page. Scaladex only supports GitHub for gathering more information on artifact. The artifacts using different SCM, for example, GitLab, can create a GitHub mirror to let Scaladex read the library repository. Let's look into more internal details of Scaladex now. Single server, single process. All the code runs in one process, including API and background jobs, due to the monolithic architecture and manageable user requests, just a few thousand daily. This design follows the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid, to avoid any over-engineering. The infrastructure is very purpose-built to meet specific needs, ensuring maintainability, supportability, and approachability. For data storage, we use PostgreSQL housed on the same VM as the search engine, which is Elasticsearch. POM file handling. When POM files are published, they are parsed and the extracted data is stored in the PostgreSQL database. So this here shows the dependency graph of various Scaladex modules. Core is the main module, which contains the data classes and interfaces like artifacts, projects, binary version, web database, search engine. Then we have infra, template, and client, which depend on core. Infra has the implementations like SQL database, web database, Elastic search engine. Template has HTML template, 12 particularly, 12 templates. Then for client, we have Scala.js scripts. In the server, we have HTTP routes for front page, search page, project page. We have our background jobs. We have our main class, server class. And for data, we have a create and load snapshot of the database. This slide here shows a list of external dependencies, which make for a great tech stack. So we can see the background jobs here, which maintain the state of Scaladex, which are scheduled every X minutes. Testing. I think the amount of testing in this project is impressive. There are unit tests and integration tests covering all the important use cases. With this, I'll end this segment and show some useful links. And now move on to share my mentoring experience with Scala Center, which has been highly rewarding. I got an opportunity to learn a lot and grow professionally. We use open source every day, and I think giving back is a responsibility, and mentoring is a way for us to give back to the community. There are several different ways we can participate as open source developer. We can participate in the Google Summer of Code program. We can do our own projects and create our own libraries. Some of us are doing those things. I personally encourage everyone to contribute to open source, and I have listed, based on my experience, some open source projects which have interesting new work that we can get into. So there are projects like Feral and FS2, which got selected this year for Google Summer of Code program. Scaladex I've spoken already about. We have Scala 3, Scala.js, SBT. Then we have our Scala, very own Scala website, which needs updating. So these are some ideas for you to consider for next year with this. Yeah. Thank you all.